Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of Cobra Kai, Season 4, Episode 5. There are so many hot takes in this video. I wanna shake Daniel. I mean, granted, that may make me get into a fight with Daniel LaRusso and he will kick my ass, but I just want to shake him and be like, what is wrong with you?
Oh my goodness, Daniel. I mean, listen, seeing Terry, I understand why he's regressing as bad as he is, but oh man, I really wanted to shake him. Nobody could get through to him, and we will talk about all of that in this video.
Okay.
Oh boy.
This one was, I will say, I did love this episode. I also
Oh, it was good.
I'm so aggravated. I'm just like emotional. Even just like, this is why we do these videos like right after we watch, because I'm so pent up.
Yeah.
Okay, hit that subscribe button because twice a day we are here talking all about Cobra Kai. You know, we are having a great time. We want you guys to be along for the ride. Share your thoughts on these episodes in the comments. We love to hear from you. All right.
All right, let's start with Terry because the last episode ended with Terry showing up and it played out kind of how I thought it was going to play out, where Terry was there to be like, listen, we can't have our students all fighting off the mat. Like, you need to get your students in line. Also, it's long overdue. You deserve an apology. If I could take back what I did, like, I'm really regretful. Did he mean it or not? We don't really know. I actually think that there's a part of him in there that's embarrassed about the way that he acted. He has gone through a lot since then over the years to kind of move into a different spot in his mind. He may be regretful over it. I mean, we even had John Kreese at the very, very beginning be like, hey, you want to come back and get Daniel LaRusso? And he was like, I don't care about this kid anymore. Like, move on. But it ended up actually doing something even bigger picture for Terry. And I feel like Terry knew that this was going to do this because I think that he is more of an architect of everything that's happening than a lot of people realize, including John. Everyone is very manipulated and influenced by what Terry is doing. Terry could have shown up there and been like, hey, I apologize for everything. Yeah. Or he could have been like, I'm going to send you on a vacation to apologize for what I done. He could have shown up and been like, I hate you and I hope you die in a fire. It didn't matter what Terry did. Just him showing up was enough to rattle Daniel to the point that he has destroyed everything that he has been working with Johnny, which I think was the ultimate goal for Terry.
I think all of this is absolutely true, and I also think that everything, like both sides of everything can be true. Like, I think personally, Terry does hold remorse for what he did so many years ago, and I think he did show up there wanting to make a genuine apology for his soul so that he kind of doesn't have to worry about that sort of weight of his coked up behavior being there anymore. But I think simultaneously, like you said, I think he did also know that this would rattle up Daniel. And I think he probably thought of it as, you know, that's Daniel's responsibility if it wants to rattle up Daniel. That's on him. That's not on me. But I think he still knew that this was going to work him up, that this was going to cause all sorts of problems with Daniel. Terry knows that he can also get through to John Kreese, that he can sort of instill his own philosophy on the John Kreese so that he can sort of pull all of the strings. And I think we're building towards this fascinating endgame here where maybe Terry gets what he wants out of this and then nobody else does, and then he can just peace out of this situation feeling better.
Yeah. Or Terry is going to grow into an even bigger villain than John Kreese. Because if John Kreese doesn't make it out of this season okay with, you know, the win and he's still around, I mean, Terry can technically still be around. He didn't make this deal. He can decide to continue on whatever he wants after this. And with the amount of influence that he's already got over the kids, he's, you know, told them they're not allowed to fight. They're not fighting. They're still finding a way around stuff because they're kids and they're going to do what they want. He still also has this huge influence over Kreese, where they sat down, had this dinner, and John's like, listen, we need to have a talk, man. I want revenge, revenge, revenge. And Terry's like, you already got revenge. You struck first. You've got Johnny's son wrapped in a Cobra Kai blanket over here. There's nothing worse you can do to him, to rattle him, to hurt him, than to take his son. And then you add on top of it, Terry showing up and rattling Daniel to the point that it's all like done. They're dojo and they're, being together and working together. It is all unraveled.
And I think the thing about John already having Robbie sort of under his wing is like, I don't know if the show will present it this way, but to me, that is a bigger win for John Kreese than winning the All Valley ever could be. Because no matter what happens moving forward, Johnny has to live with the fact that Robbie spent a period of time training under John Kreese, who just tormented him and turned him into this person he did not like. And all of this is going to haunt him. And it's just like this All Valley is a big boisterous facade that just sort of exists so that there can be an arbitrary winner at the end of this, and I'm not sure there's going to be any winner at all.
One of the things that I'm kind of surprised isn't happening, we've got Robbie over with Cobra Kai and with John, and Johnny knows how dangerous Kreese is and how influential he is, and that he knows that bad things could happen to his actual son, but he's still not stepping up to try to find a way to get him out of that and put the work into him. And instead, he's still putting all this work into Miguel, who I understand is someone he cares about as well. But there is room enough in Johnny's life to also try to work things out and be there and prove himself to his son.
Johnny just doesn't know how to balance things out. He thinks that you have to be full tilt on just like whatever is right in front of you. Like even in this episode, Daniel's selfishness, Daniel's anger over Terry coming back sends Johnny into this spiral where, okay, I gotta fight Daniel now. I'm gonna spend all this time training. And this is like the only thing that matters to Johnny, where he's got like the 80s rock and roll mixtape and working out and talking
with the giant eagle at the end. I died. It was so funny.
Yeah, he just can't concentrate.
But listen, it makes sense. Daniel comes back to this same idea again where he's like, Miyagi-Do is the only way. All the students have to only learn Miyagi-Do, where we all watching know that that's not really the way to win. We've got Robbie on the other side that also knows Miyagi-Do, that has taught the Cobra Kai's Miyagi-Do. They know both. So instead, you're just going to only teach your students one style and not a way to sort of defend actual Cobra Kai and teach them Cobra Kai. It's just, he's so like one track with this, where it's basically like, Johnny, get on board or get out. And it's kind of like, who are you to say that your way is the only way?
Daniel. What is wrong with you, Daniel LaRusso? You frustrated me to no end in this episode with just like how smug you continually were about the entirety of the process. I get it. You beat Johnny many decades ago. Johnny would have been fine continuing to sort of work out how to do this, how to train both ways at once. I think it's what he wanted because he agreed to do all of this in the first place. And just because you have some sort of vendetta against Terry Silver that Johnny does not, that does not make you the hero of this story. Daniel LaRusso thinks that Cobra Kai, let's get super meta here. He thinks that Cobra Kai is his show and that he is the star, he is the hero. And guess what? There are two people who are the stars of this show, and you can't take the credit away from Johnny.
It's true. The other hero of this show is Johnny's tweets. Oh my God.
Oh no.
His first tweet is, hello? I died. His tweeting skills are killing me.
Listen, okay,
hello?
I think I first got Twitter in like 2009, and I didn't know how to use it then either. So like me, I guess 12 years ago was similar to Johnny. I thought it was like those Facebook statuses way back when. So I think my first tweet was, it was like Matt Carter, that's the name. And then my tweet was, is making a sandwich. Like Johnny's, listen, there's a learning curve. There will never be a better tweet. After Johnny said hello, everybody should have just deleted Twitter from there because it's only going to go downhill.
No, it was a frustrating episode to watch Daniel going down this road.
Yeah.
And I was really hoping that the conversation with Sam was going to be the thing that really turned it around. And instead, it just pushed it even further in the opposite direction. Sam saying and expressing, like, listen, I want to be able, if I have to face Tori at this All Valley, I need to know both styles. I don't want to stop learning Johnny's way. Why can't you guys work it out? Like all the students worked it out.
Yeah.
We all want to learn both styles. Why would you take that from any of us? And he instead, like, internalize that to be like, oh man, I got to protect my daughter from Johnny and learning this style. Like, it got way worse. Terry, you did a good job getting in Daniel's head, man.
There's so much fun irony with this show because I feel like 95% of all TV shows out there, the teenagers are always bratty and immature and petty. And don't get me wrong, all these teenager characters have these moments on Cobra Kai. But for this episode, Daniel and Johnny are the two most immature people in the entirety of the cast because Johnny and Daniel get so like machismo with their puffing out their chests with their, how dare you take in your Daniel's case, you're influencing my daughter. And then Johnny is jealous because Miguel is spending time around Daniel. And it's just like, listen, there can be an extended karate family here. Like, it's okay. There's not going to be any major problems with this if you guys would just swallow a little bit of your pride.
Yeah, there has to be something there. And listen, I get where Johnny's coming from, that he's, has built this huge relationship with Miguel, but like, he's just not paying attention to the fact that he is dating Danny's daughter.
Yeah.
Like, this is the father of the woman he's dating. Of course, he needs to make some sort of relationship over there as well. And we saw Miguel try to talk Johnny out of it as well. And I mean, even at the last second when they were like about to face off, Johnny was still kind of like, there's another way.
Look, this is a great question, and of course we want to hear you guys' thoughts on it, but is this really all Daniel's fault? Because, usually situations on Cobra Kai are very, very nuanced, right? Where, like, there's something X character could have done, something Y character would have done, but, like, really, if we were just to look at this one situation in a vacuum and ignore everything else, it's really hard to sit here and say that this fight would have happened if Daniel was even willing to, like, give an inch or listen to like a split second of compromise.
I think part of the problem is that all this that happened with Terry Silver in the past that got into Daniel's head in the present, the person he went to go talk to about it is Johnny. And I understand why, because I'm sure Johnny was like, who is this guy? Like, what is going on? And Dan's like, oh, this is who he is. This is what's going on. But the person he should have spoken to is someone like Amanda, who would have been able to sort of, and has in the past, talked him off the ledge and been like, this guy's getting in your head. You can't allow that to happen. You and Johnny have built something really strong. Do not let him pull that apart. But instead he talked to Johnny and came in with this hot take again that is like, oh, my way's the only way.
Okay, this is a very good point. So let's settle in on this point here for a moment. Here are the two people that ultimately Daniel LaRusso could have gone to. Number one, your wife, the person who you love, who you got married to, who knows you inside and out, who has been there on good days and bad days.
Yep.
Person number two, your former arch enemy, who at the start of this season, in the first season, you guys were in particular like doing really crude and vulgar stunts to each other at times and being very petty and immature. This is who you're confiding with, Daniel? Somebody needs to talk to you, man. Your head is not on straight.
I honestly thought that the talk with Sam might have been the thing that helped him as well.
Yeah.
I didn't see it going the other way, that there was going to be that kind of jealousy, because I really thought that Daniel's relationship with Sam was way deeper than that. Not just because he's her father. We've seen over the seasons how close they are, and that they do have a respect back and forth for each other's opinions. And he has listened to her and she's listened to him. And there's something more there with the respect between them. And I just felt that the way that she explained it was very mature. It was very real, and it was very true, where she's like, I need to beat Tori. And to do that, I need to know everybody's style. I truly thought he was going to listen to that.
So let's move now into the other catalyst in all of this, like the other thing that should have gotten Daniel and Johnny to really get on the same page here, and that is Hawk losing his signature mohawk after he's ambushed, by the likes of Kyler and Robbie and Tori. They show up at the tattoo shop, they buzz off his hair, he shows up, reveals, what has happened to him, this terrible, horrible event. And, Daniel and Johnny at this point, they got to just look at this and be like, oh my gosh, what has happened to, this student, this person we are supposed to protect and care for, and we're sitting over here doing like this at each other back and forth and staging a fake karate match with judges that are their students.
Yeah, and none of them really like hit hard on the fact that their students instigated this with the whole sprinkler thing. If they had just gone home, this wouldn't have had any sort of retaliation. You know that Cobra Kai are going to retaliate. They always do, and they always go like 10 times harder. These guys are going to get some water on them. They're going to hold down Hawk and like cut his hair off. That's pretty traumatizing. A lot more than getting some water on you. Yeah. It always is, they're going to hit back harder, and there was no sort of like, guys, this was wrong, except from Johnny and not from Daniel. He was like, good job, guys. It was just like, what is happening here? They're losing their way.
Yeah, and I would want to think that this would turn things around, and maybe it will, at least for Hawk. I mean, maybe this will be the sort of thing that causes Hawk to sort of realize that there's more than just his hair that makes him this super aggro personality who hasn't adjusted enough so far this season. I mean, obviously, we'll sort of wait and see on that.
So this fight ended the way that I thought it was going to. I was just like, okay, there's no way that Daniel is going to win this. This is not Daniel's show. No. This show is about Johnny more than anybody else. So they're not going to have it just be another repeat that Daniel wins over Johnny again by a point. It's just kind of like, okay, nobody wants to watch that. No. But then at the same time, you can't have it that it's going to be everyone's going to be Eagle Fang either. No. Although I would have watched that happily, because it would have like then brought Daniel down a little bit where he can actually start to see somebody else's point of view. But like Sam said, they need both, and they want both. They don't only want Johnny's way. So I was like, how is this really going to end? It's got to be something where they both like, kick each other in the face at the same time, and there's no winner.
My favorite funny moment of the episode is when they were like checking the tape, and then they were like, can we see another angle? Yeah. It's like, what do you guys think this is? This is not an NFL game where they go to the booth and there's like 800 different camera views of what is going on here.
Okay, so then we have the moment that we both agree on is kind of like a really missed opportunity here, where Johnny's like, okay, Eagle Fang, we're leaving. Yeah. I truly expected, and I know that you said the same thing, that Miguel was going to stay at Miyagi-Do and that Sam was going to leave and go to Eagle Fang. She already expressed that she wants to learn it.
Yeah, I loved so much of this episode, and there's so little of it that I can sit here and be like, man, I wish they had done like this thing instead of this other thing. Like, I am very frustrated with Daniel, but I enjoyed and appreciated like the story direction and the build up to all that, and even the result of it. But like, this is the decision that just, it feels like they blew it a little bit, because having Sam go over there and be with Eagle Fang, I think it would have been a blow to Daniel's ego, which needs a serious blow, even more so than like losing that tournament, even more so than any one other action that we have seen so far this season. Like, it would have really opened the doors to so many other things. And yeah, the same goes for Miguel sticking behind with Daniel. And I don't know why that didn't happen. I don't know if it's like Sam just thinks, okay, at the end of the day, this is my dad. I can't walk out on my dad. But it would have been so effective.
Yeah, or even if it was just one of them that made the decision.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm wondering if the creators, the people behind the show were like, oh, it's going to be just too hokey for them to switch out and leave, which I don't think it would have. I think it would have been really powerful. But if it was going to just be one of them, it needed to be Sam. Sam needs that storyline where she stands behind what she needs for herself. And what she needs for herself, she has laid it out clear.
I think what would have also just been really fun about it is I think Daniel realizes that he is influencing Miguel and he's having this impact, and I think he's very self-aware of that. I don't think Johnny is really as aware of like that he's actually helping Sam, so I just think that would have been a really funny and just interesting dynamic to explore.
Yeah, to have that moment where he's kind of like, what? You're coming along kind of thing that because it has gone over his head.
Yeah, and I think that would have just helped maybe a little bit with his tunnel vision as well, and sort of realize he can impact many different people at once and bring it back to something you said very early on in this video. Maybe this would have made him realize, oh yeah, Robbie's over there. Maybe I should have do something about this as well.
Yeah, that's the one thing that feels like it's kind of missing from this season is that feeling of protection over Robbie to be like, I have been under the influence of John Kreese. I am not having this. And the moment that he figured out that Kreese was actually training Robbie, that was it. And that should have been one of the things that's kind of on the line for him as well. That it's like, not only are you shutting down, but you are staying away from my son.
Can you believe we're halfway through this
season
now? I'm so fired up. It's like, you would think this conversation 22 minutes in, it would be like, all right, we're at peace now. But I want to shake Daniel as much as I did at the start of this video.
Great episode, great season so far. It has really been a fun ride.
Yeah, we're so glad you guys are with us for all of that. And we hope you subscribe, give this video a like, and we will see you here next time. We're doing 2 of these a day.